After years of wondering whether BlackBerry would make an Android smartphone, we're finally here. The Blackberry Priv represents BlackBerry's first and possibly final attempt at making an Android phone. The company has more or less said that they'll be using the Priv with its physical keyboard as a gauge to determine whether they'll keep making phones at all. So with a lot possibly riding on its success, is the Priv good enough to capture the attention of a world that's moved on to virtual keyboards? It will be my privilege to talk about it. Remember when I said privilege right there? Like a few seconds ago? It wasn't just a pun. BlackBerry says Priv stands for both privilege and privacy. The privacy thing sort of makes sense. The Priv has a number of unique security features, but privilege, besides being sort of a cheesy marketing word, well, that's a matter of opinion. Now, the big huge thing with the Priv is its physical keyboard, obviously, so let's jump right into that. I honestly can't specifically remember the last high-end Android phone that had a physical keyboard. Motorola and HTC had some in the earlier days of Android, but the slider form factor has pretty much completely fallen by the wayside. So, how is it to use? Well, as I said, I hadn't used the physical keyboard on a phone for some time, so it took me a while to get back into the swing of things. The keyboard button should feel familiar to anyone who's owned a BlackBerry before, but having used the BlackBerry Pearl back in the day, they do seem a little mushier than I remember. The size of the keyboard is smaller than most virtual keyboards, so I had to retrain my thumbs to move in smaller increments. That said, BlackBerry has included some very helpful software features that enhance the typing experience. The keyboard is touch-enabled, so you can not only scroll web pages without touching the screen, you can also swipe up while typing to autocorrect words, swipe down to access the symbol menus, and double tap to move the on-screen cursor around. It's also really nice to be able to type without having half your phone's screen obstructed by a virtual keyboard. Plus, you can slide your phone open and shut like the good old days, and I gotta say, that's probably what I miss the most. But I'm a fidgety guy. Alright, let's take a look at the exterior of the device. It's got a 5.4-inch AMOLED display with Gorilla Glass 4 and a 2560 by 1440 resolution, and it actually has a very gentle curve on either side, not nearly as much as Samsung's S6 Edge though. We've also got a 2-megapixel selfie camera that shoots 720p video, and at the bottom, a front-facing speaker. Good gravy. Good job, BlackBerry. On the back, we have the 18-megapixel rear camera with optical image stabilization, a dual LED flash, and the BlackBerry logo, surrounded by a soft-touch glass weave material with a carbon fiber look that manages to be perfectly grippy without attracting tons of dirt and crap. On the bottom, we've got a micro USB port and headphone jack. On the top is the SIM and micro SD card slot. Oh yeah. On the left side, we've got the power button, and on the right, BlackBerry's standard volume buttons flanking what's supposed to be a mute button, but it never actually worked for me. Could just be a software glitch, or maybe BlackBerry put it there on purpose to make me look like a fool. You got me. On the inside, there's a Qualcomm Snapdragon 808 Adreno 418 GPU, 3 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of storage, although again, there is a microSD card slot that supports up to 200 gigabyte cards, AC Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 4.1, NFC, and a 3,410 milliamp-hour battery. Now, if you've been paying attention, you can see that this is a flagship-level Android phone, and using it feels very similar to any other Android flagship. It's running Android 5.1 Lollipop, no Marshmallow yet, but I'm sure it will come eventually. BlackBerry has put a few UI tweaks in there, but for the most part, they're actually pretty nice and unobtrusive. They squeezed some functionality out of the curved screen by including this slide-in bar on the side, which shows calendar events, unread messages, tasks, and favorite contacts, and you can customize its size, transparency, and placement along either edge. The edge also serves as a sort of battery bar when you're charging. The app drawer is divided into apps, widgets, and shortcuts. Yep, BlackBerry brought this feature back to Android, so you can have an icon on your home screen that does something specific inside an app. The notification tray has icons that can categorize your notifications by app, which is pretty cool when you have a million of them. The UI that's brought up by the volume buttons enables you to change all system volumes as well as set the notification mode from all to priority to no interruptions. Long pressing the home button will bring up Google Now and 2 other shortcuts which you can customize, and there's a number of other little tweaks like tapping the screen to wake the device, or if you just want to tap something because you like tapping. Let's move on to the camera. This is without a doubt the best camera ever seen on a BlackBerry device, but That's not saying much. As I said earlier, it's 18 megapixels with image stabilization, phase detection, autofocus, and a lens by Schneider Kreuznach. It records 4K video at 30 FPS and 1080p and 720p at 60 FPS. It's not a super great camera. Photos often look pretty soft, and in low light it can be pretty slow, although the Priv did get an update during my review and it seemed to improve things somewhat. Overall, I wouldn't say the camera is a major selling point, but it's definitely more than adequate for casual photos and video. How was the battery life? It was pretty good. It lasted about a day. I never had to reach for a charger during regular use thanks to that big old battery, which does make it a bit heftier than other phones, but it also makes it feel like a more solid device, which I do prefer, as I've said before. Indeed, the build quality seems good, but this being a slider phone, there are moving parts, which means more things that can fail. But at least BlackBerry also has a very well implemented virtual keyboard in case the physical one gets mangled. The Priv's performance, while using intensive apps and while multitasking, was always great, even though the Antutu benchmark had it pretty low on the list of current Android devices, just under the LG G4 actually, which shares the same processor. There have been some reports of the device heating up under heavy use, and while it did get a bit warm a few times, it wasn't like the HTC One M9 pre-patch for the Snapdragon 810. It definitely wasn't hot enough to be problematic. Now, part of what BlackBerry's all about these days is security, and as such, they've included an app they call DTech, which helps you monitor and control various aspects of the Priv in order to maximize its privacy. There's also a password keeper app that keeps your passwords. Of course, the device also comes with BBM, which is on Android and iOS now as well, and the BlackBerry Hub, which consolidates your texts, emails, Facebook, Twitter, and phone call logs all in one place. It acts pretty much like a unified communication hub, which is great, but it would have been even better if it also supported some various messaging apps. Different people I know use Hangouts, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, etc., and it would have been awesome to wrangle all those into one place as well. As it is, it probably works awesome for a more businessy type person who needs to manage multiple email accounts and some social media. And when you get down to it, that is the type of person who really would want this phone. If you're sending emails constantly, trying to maintain all these separate tangled threads in your life, this will help you to organize and deal with them. The Priv is altogether an excellent Android device that also has a physical keyboard. The only real issue I had with it was relearning how to type on it. I only just kind of felt like I got the hang of it right before I filmed this review, actually. If you feel like you've still got the physical keyboard skills, or crave the crazy typing efficiency that you had on your old BlackBerry, it's definitely worth trying out at an NCIX store near you, if there's one near you. You can click here or the link in the description for more information on the Priv, or to buy it, if that's what you really want. Alright, that's it for this review, guys. Thanks for watching. Click here to watch more videos, follow us on social media over here, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this from NCIX. Or maybe not like this. You never really know what we're gonna put out there. I mean, you probably have an idea, but I'm thinking maybe soon we'll buy some tree frogs and film them wrestling. Would you watch that? Okay, we'll probably just stick to tech videos then, whatever.